9-year suspension. Welcome back to details. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi hailed on Tuesday the distinguished ties that bind Egypt with Brazil. This came during the president's meeting with Vice President of Brazil, Hamilton Mourão, in the attendance of Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry and Brazilian Ambassador to Egypt, Antonio Patriota. The head of state said he was looking forward to broadening ties in relations in various domains to benefit from their diverse capabilities, praising Brazil's development experience, describing it as one of Egypt's important trade partners in Latin America. During the meeting, President Sisi and Mourão exchanged visions over Egypt's reaction to a UN Security Council statement about Ethiopia's dam. In this respect, the Brazilian vice president expressed his country's understanding of the significance of the Nile River to Egypt's food and water security. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi met with Counselor Minister of Justice Omar Marwan on Tuesday. During the meeting, the president directed the development and mechanization of the court system and litigation procedures, including the technical development of the court headquarters and buildings. The head of state also instructed to promote the use of the latest technologies in the court system in order to facilitate procedures for civilians and achieve the highest level of justice. Presidential spokesman Bassem Radi said the meeting focused on the implementation of the decisions issued by the last meeting of the Supreme Council of the judicial bodies, as well as efforts to develop the Ministry of Justice and its offices nationwide to expedite the litigation procedures. Furthermore, the president on Tuesday delegated Armed Forces General Commander Defense Minister General Mohammed Zaki to lay a wreath of flowers on the tomb of late former President Gamal Abdel Nasser as Egypt commemorated the 51st anniversary of his death. At a ceremony attended by key figures of the armed forces, Zaki conveyed to the family of late President Abdel Nasser the appreciation and gratitude of President Sisi for his pivotal role and relentless efforts that elected Egypt for a pioneering regional and international position. President Sisi hailed President Abdel Nasser for exerting efforts that serve Arab and regional causes, in addition to consolidating people in their struggle for independence and freedom. The head of state reiterated that this anniversary would be a unique pattern for coming generations that reflects struggle and sacrifice for the sake of the nation and its people. Adding, history witnessed achievements of the 23rd of July revolution under the leadership of Abdel Nasser, with the assistance of the armed forces and the consensus of the people, with the aim of conquering colonialization and building a strong army capable of safeguarding the nation. The president confirmed the great Egyptian people, with their wise national leadership, are making history and a new era of development that provide Egyptians with good lives they aspire to. Army Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Mohammed Farid visited military and police troops in northern Sinai on Tuesday. The visit was aimed at checking on the security situation, living conditions, and implementation of measures and plans laid out. During the visit, Lieutenant General Mohammed Farid inspected a number of national projects supervised by the armed forces. He also visited a number of governmental institutions in northern Sinai. Officials said on Tuesday that 2 days of fierce clashes between Yemeni government forces and the country's Houthis over a crucial central city have killed more than 130 fighters, mostly rebels. The details.
The escalation of fighting over the energy-rich city of Ma'arib comes as President Joe Biden's National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan traveled to Saudi Arabia to meet with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman as Washington presses for a ceasefire in the years-long Yemen's war. Yemen has been convulsed in civil war since 2014, when the Iran-backed Houthis captured the capital of Sana'a and much of the country's north, forcing President Abdurrabbu Mansour Hadi and his government to flee to the south, then to Saudi Arabia. A Saudi-led coalition entered the war in March 2015, backed by the United States, to try to restore Hadi to power. Despite a relentless air campaign and ground fighting, the war has deteriorated largely into a stalemate and spawned the world's worst humanitarian crisis. The rebels renewed their attacks on Ma'rib earlier this year, an offensive that threatens to exacerbate a dire situation in the city that already hosts hundreds of thousands of displaced Yemenis. The Houthis, for years, have attempted to take Ma'rib to complete their control over the northern half of the country, but have met with stiff resistance. The latest fighting has taken place south of Ma'rib, where the rebels are trying to break the government defenses, according to tribal elders, government and rebel officials. The Houthi media office said the Saudi-led coalition launched more than 30 strikes on their fighters around Ma'rib on Monday. Yemen's Houthi rebels are drawing closer to the strategic city of Ma'rib, whose seizure from the government could be a pivotal moment in the 7-year war.
Commercial flights will resume between Amman and Damascus on Sunday after being suspended for 9 years due to Syria's civil war. The resumption of the flights carried national carrier Royal Jordanian Airlines was announced after a meeting between officials from the two countries. A Syrian ministerial delegation was in Amman for talks aimed at strengthening bilateral economic cooperation between the neighbors. Royal Jordanian operated 2 flights a day to Syria until July 2012, when it suspended services as an anti-government uprising